What's going on, people? DJ Sketch here with a Wii Rail Shooter triple feature. Hope you guys are ready for the fucking games I'm going to drop on you, because these are all things you may or may not have heard about, and if you haven't, I'm about to tell you about it right now, so keep your ears peeled and listen up real good. Some of these are shit, some of these are great, but we're going to get to it, and I'm going to tell you which ones are which, and even still, they're cheap as fuck, so you might as well pick it up if you can, find a copy, I don't know, do whatever you want, the choice is yours. But first thing I want to talk about is this game you're seeing now, Counterforce, released on May 1st, 2003. Though universally panned, this rail shooter from Conspiracy Entertainment, yes, the same studio responsible for Ninja Bread Man and all its clones, has a style reminiscent to Space Harrier and or Planet Harrier, the arcade cabinet counterpart, and or a spiritual sequel to the original Space Harrier franchise. This is your fairly average rail shooter on the kind of laundry list of Wii shovelware that there was an abundance of when that console was a new thing. And though reviews were poor for this title, I mean, just kind of looking at the gameplay, you can probably see why people weren't really too stoked about this. It's not that bad, you know? It really isn't. If you take it at face value, and also you can find it for a very cheap price like I did. I got this for, I think, $2 at a retro game store when I picked it up. It's definitely worth checking out. I mean, a couple bucks, it ain't gonna hurt, especially if you have a Wii. You know, fucking strap on your little fucking Wiimote, blast some fucking robots, and, you know, give it a go. I mean, for a couple bucks, not really that bad a deal. You can definitely pick out worse games on the Wii, especially with all the shovelware that fucking console had, which I'll probably cover later on in another video. But until then, you know, if you find a copy of this, kind of looking around, because honestly, when I found this, I only saw it once, and ever since I picked it up, I haven't seen it again. So, take that as a hint. If you see it, pick it up. It's not the best game in the world, but also it's not the worst. So, there's definitely worse choices you can have, you know, picking something like this up. So, give it a shot. Honestly, I think you might enjoy it. Resident Evil fans rejoice. Even though they've tried this rail shooter formula in the past, this one actually got it right. This is Resident Evil The Umbrella Chronicles, which actually brought a fairly decent mixture of retelling the missions from Resident Evil 0 on the GameCube, Resident Evil 1 Remake, and Resident Evil 3. Adds a different spin on the survival horror genre that the series has come to be known for. This one was actually fairly interesting, as I played this back in the day when it was new, and I wasn't crazy about it honestly at a glance, but when I played it again recently, I honestly love this game, especially if you're into games like House of the Dead. This is honestly right up your alley. It's the same kind of gameplay, shoot anything that moves, solve the puzzles, the little bits that there are, and go for it and just have a good time, you know? And you can also bring a friend along with this one. It's also because the co-op on this is actually like fantastic. Again, if you like games like House of the Dead, I know I just said that. This game is literally, it's for you, you know? It's fast, frenetic action, amongst headshotting zombies and everything else that you might come across in this game. This one's actually like fairly interesting, along the Dark Side Chronicles, which is the sequel, which carries on the storyline, giving you more missions from Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 4 and 5, I believe. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they have 5 in there. Don't quote me on that. I apologize. But even still, this one, it's interesting, especially if you're like a Wii, if you have a Wii collection, if you're going for, not even if you're going for completes necessarily, but if you have a Wii and you like rail shooters, like Sin and Punishment, or really just any rail shooter in general, this one, I was just picking this one up as well. It's fairly cheap. Also, I think I got my copy of this for $10 at a local store, you know. So this one, I would say, highly recommended. Especially like this one, the first one, Umbrella Chronicles. It's good. But also Darkside Chronicles, I think, is a little bit better. It has a bit more polish and also has a lot more familiar Resident Evil tropes that most people are going to come to know and love, especially like things from Resident Evil 2. So, you know, if you find a copy of this, I'd say pick it up. It's honestly, it's good. It's good. I know it's my kind of like my patented signature review, but even still, this game is interesting. So if you're a fan of the Resident Evil series and also a fan of rail shooters, this is a very good blend of the two. So I'd say do yourself a favor. If you see it's out in the wild, give it a go. I think you'll like it.
We're going in to save the president. Mission start.
Make a stealth entry and swiftly assault the enemy. The president will be in danger if you're spotted. Be careful.
Last but certainly not least, I want to talk about a little game on the Wii called Go Squad. This is a port of the arcade cabinet of the same name, released in November 20th of 2007. This port is nearly spot on to the arcade cabinet, and this one is a rail shooter that's akin to games much like House of the Dead and also Virtual Cop, which you also have the option of unlocking the costumes for, which is, I thought, a very, very cool addition. And along with this, what sets it apart from every other Sega rail shooter that came out around the same time as this and also prior to it, your two-man wrecking crew, you pretty much go through, you shoot anything that moves, you rescue the hostages, you complete the objectives, and that's really the gist, honestly. It's a lot of fun, it's a very fast, like, frenetic game. Also, this is one that I was really, really surprised by, to be completely honest with you. Because I played this at a buddy's house, really not knowing what it was. But we also went to like a retro game shop. He picked it up, and I was just like, "What is this, man? Like, this game actually looks pretty interesting." And after playing it just over there, like I literally set out, I had to buy 2 copies, both of which were like bunk at first. But the last one I got finally worked, and honestly, it's one of my favorite Wii games that I have in my collection at the moment. And even though there's only 3 levels to play through. Yes, there's only 3. Pretty much through each successful completion, you'll unlock new weapons, new costumes, the Virtual Cop costume, which is included, and also, along with everything else you can unlock as far as like cosmetics, you also can unlock branching paths. One of which you'll have like hand-to-hand combat segments, you'll have hostage rescue segments, you have bomb defusal segments. There's pretty much a little bit of something for every kind of playstyle, especially if you're very used to playing rail shooters, or really just like any kind of arcade shooter, where you're pretty much just like going through and just like mowing down anything in your path. Like Terminator 2 arcade game, Revolution X. Like if you played anything similar to that, you'll feel very at home playing Go Squad. This, out of everything else that I've covered on this list so far, this was by far my favorite. Even though I'm a Resident Evil head too, but even still, like this one, I think kind of overshadows both the games that I've mentioned so far, especially Counterforce, you know. But also the thing about this game as well, also it has a party mode, which you can play with 2 to 4 players, which was tight. Honestly, like even though with all the crosshairs on the screen, it wasn't incredibly difficult to keep up with everything that was going on. And it's a really cool game, especially if you like bust it out at a party or something where like a lot of people are playing, I guess, or hanging out, and you have a Wii around. If you have this game, it's gonna be a hit, dude. Like, let's be real. This is actually like, as far as like Wii games that I've played, like with the exception of Sin and Punishment, which I think is the best rail shooter available on the Wii, this game is like falls a very, very close second. And you know, the party mode actually adequately translates the arcade experience to the home, and that by itself, aside from everything else this game does right, I say is another reason to pick this game up, which is also cheap. Everything on this list is under $10. So if you have a Wii and you like to shoot things, I say pick any of these games up. You'll be very, very glad that you did. Counterforce, maybe not so much. That one's kind of a niche kind of game. But everything else, I'd say definitely highly recommend, and I would never ever feel bad about telling anyone about these games, as I'm telling you guys about it, obviously. So, if you like these, or anything similar to these, check it out. And if you have any suggestions of other games that are similar to these that might also pique someone's interest, let me know, leave it down in the comments. I appreciate you guys, thank you so much for checking out the video, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a good one, sketch out.